Okay, so hi to everyone tuning in to this video. I am here with a woman that I am so inspired by. Before this interview started, I was sitting here and talking to Emyahli, and I don't know, I just feel like you are such a well of wisdom, and I could just sit here and talk to you for hours. So before we start, I just want to say I'm so happy to get the chance to talk to you. And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for saying that. I'm blushing here.
Yes. Yeah, thank you so much. So one thing that I have been wondering a lot about, and it's what do you feel really creates sustainable transformation for people? What is it that creates transformation?
The first thing that came to me when you said that was honesty.
Mm.
I feel there is a lot about learning to be really honest with ourselves about where we are, but it's not the kind of honest that is brutal, this brutal honesty or this radical honesty that people are sometimes even putting on a high pedestal now, this radical honesty. Sometimes it's a bit too much for us. The kind of honesty I mean is the place where we can look at ourselves, we can see where we are, we can see really what it is that will be beneficial for us to grow. Not what it is that's comfortable for us to grow or what makes us feel just only good and nice, but also to be soft enough to be working with ourselves in a way that we can contain, that is also pleasurable for us, because suffering, life gives us enough. I feel it's one point that I got to in my life right now, the transformation. For transformation, we don't need to create more suffering. We need to work with what already we receive, because we receive some things from life, and try to bring them in the most pleasurable, the most soft way, while using our courage as well. So that's kind of one basic thing that I feel. There's a lot you can say about what creates transformation. That's one.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to say I really hear you on this point, because sometimes it feels like this radical honesty is also a way that we can just dump our anger, or it's like truth, yeah, but is this truth really serving in this moment? Is it kind? Can the person receive this, or is it just me, getting an excuse for maybe dumping my anger?
And is it kind to ourselves? Because many times we don't dump our radical honesty on others. I'm even speaking about the most basic honesty with ourselves. Am I being radically honest with myself right now and telling myself I'm not good enough in that area and this area and this area and so many things? And what is this honesty? Is that even true? Maybe that's not really true. Maybe that's we have a lot of ideas of what's the truth about where we are, where we should be.
Right.
And there's a lot more softness. This is something I've noticed also very much learning from native people. With all their faults and pluses as all of us humans, they have a lot more kind of human expectations of themselves. It's okay that you are just you. It's okay that you are just where you are. It's like nature. Nature is just where she is. She's not working so hard. There's a lot more surrender into what it is. And then the honesty is more kind of looking at where you really are, what you can do, what you can't, being very soft, seeing the whole picture, and then holding this transformation, not just on those levels that are really high, where we see our vision, we see who we want to be, all this manifesting our reality. That's one side of it, but there's the whole side that is just being with what the reality is of our body now, of our present moment, of where our emotional body is, of where we're able to say yes to what it is that is now, so we can continue. And with love, with love and through pleasure. Pleasure is my key. I feel that pleasure is something that makes us want more. So if we give ourselves a little step that has some good taste in it, we're going to want to take another one. If not, we're going to resist ourselves. We're going to become, we're going to stop making progress because it's not even the progress that our spirit wants.
Wow, that resonates so deeply in me. It's like on one hand we have that whole teaching of going out there and manifesting your reality and all of this, and I can see how when you speak that it's almost like in one way it becomes a non-allowance of who you are in this moment.
Yeah.
And I love also you're speaking about, also before we had this interview, you were talking about how the medicine, some of the medicine you bring is the medicine of pleasure and of playfulness.
Yes.
And and I love that.
It
I
makes
mean,
me
I'm
laugh.
just
The moment you say it, I see this the hummingbird. Hummingbird is really one of my symbols, and she, it's knowing to drink from the nectar, and it just makes you laugh just thinking about that, the possibility to just look where things pass. It's like the water, the water, she flows, they flow. They flow to where it's easy. They don't flow to where it's hard. Sometimes they have a lot of force. When they have a lot of force, they will jump up and they will climb mountains even. But when they don't, they go to where it's easy. It's the easy way. It's the natural way.
I don't have to struggle. I don't have to struggle to transform myself. I mean, wow, that would be
No. And I'm not saying this from a place of never being through struggle. It's the opposite, actually. There's a point where fighting does just gives its teaching, and sometimes it's fighting we bring from ourselves. Sometimes it's fighting we've absorbed when we were so young. We weren't even able to understand this is what's happening. But this energy of struggle is something that through dealing with that, this is where this understanding of pleasure came to me. I think it's through dealing with that and through the fact that I never, in a good sense, I never grew up. I've matured emotionally. I've matured as a woman, kind of going into this place of being a woman, an adult. But I feel like one very precious gift I'm grateful for is that I love to play. I honestly love to play, and if I can, I find the possibility. And sometimes play is joyful and fun, and sometimes play is not about joy and fun. It's just about very much being creative with what life gives us. It's touching everything, it's tasting everything. It's even the way that I have a sheepskin in under me. You can't see it, but the way I kind of pass my hand on it, I can just pass it on, but I can be completely there. And there is a playfulness in that, in this curiosity of, so any space that I hold also, I feel that holds this this energy of what else is there for us to flower into, to touch, to grow into. And we become avoidant of these things as we grow up, all of us.
Yeah.
We have this thing of protecting a little more, being a little more lazy, forgetting.
When you speak about that, for me, it also sounds like it's a more embodied way of living and being in this world. When you're talking about the skin, like just really sensing my body, the air, the cool breeze on my skin, the sunshine, it's like it speaks about an embodied teaching. Can you resonate with that? And how has embodiment played a role in your life's work? Or, I mean, you studied so much. I'm not going to go into it in this interview, but you have such a rich study with you, right? So does embodiment play into that somehow?
Yes, really. It's interesting because now that you're asking this, one of the first things that I studied, and it was from very young childhood and growing up, was dance. And my first thing was I want to be a dancer. And then I managed to overtrain and hurt myself a lot, which was a good thing because I had to take a break from that. And I don't think for me being being a professional dancer in that way was really the path.
Yeah.
But I was very much in my body, very strong in my body, very flexible, and still I don't think until these later years now that I've really come back to my body, because there was a very big lesson there. Through my own traumas and my own processes, I had a very to deal with very strong maybe syndrome or something like that, something autoimmune. I don't even really know, but it brought a
Wow.
lot of pain to my body. Today it's really in a better place, but it's still, I'm working with it. It was so strong to be humble like that, and not to be able to be the circus girl that I was, you know.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
so I slowly came back to my abilities and to my flexibilities and to being present in my body through really working, not just from those pleasures, the you know, the wind on the skin and the touch of everything, but also through the pain that life gave me. I didn't search for it, but it came. And working with that, coming back to the body, working with the emotions through the body, the sensual energy, the sexual energy, all of these, they come together. I'm cutting short something that, if you know, if I would talk to you about that, that can be an hour, 3 hours,
Yes.
lifetime conversation of
Mm.
how pleasure, sensual energy, and body presence and emotion, they all work together to both to sense life in a richer way, but also to heal where we are. All our emotions, if we become aware of that, the first thing where we feel them is our body.
Yes.
Body is the first one that feels our emotions.
Yeah.
We think they're in the mind, but that's a whole different process that's happening there. They come from a deeper place. So the source of where to work with them in a very effective way is the body. And there you can actually work with sensations and skip the mind a little bit. Work with your, I include the voice as something that is very connected to the body. So in work that I do, movement and voice are a very big part. Opening these channels again is something that can express who we are, can express what we are carrying, and also can heal us. We can use our own voice in different vibrations to work with our body. We can use our movement. And one more thing that, I feel embodiment has one more degree or level that goes more towards incorporation, which is another level of work, which comes from mediumship, from Umbanda tradition, where you're incorporating entities, being guides, forces of nature. And embodiment is another level below that, where you are actually, without taking on a spirit or a guide, which is, you need training for that. Sometimes people, it happens to us naturally. So I also like to guide people who have that naturally. But we don't push people to that direction, because there is a readiness that has to be. At the same time, we all have the ability, while if we're already embodied and we're already in our body and connected, we all have the ability to work with the forces of nature, with the energies. It can be an energy of water or earth. It can even be an energy of one specific ray of healing, or whatever it is that we want. Energy of honey. I like very much Oshun, the water goddess, and she works with honey. We can work with vibrations through our body, but for that we need to be present in our body. So it's a whole learning. And then these vibrations can not just heal us, but also enhance our creativity, what we do in life, open our channels. We're so much more than we can imagine. We're like a palette of millions of colors.
Wow. This conversation just blows me open, it's so interesting to listen to. I mean, I've studied embodiment myself, but it's been mostly how do I really incarnate into this body. Now you're speaking about something relational. Okay, yes, I can embody myself, but I can also embody Ushum or the quality of fire or this kind of relational wisdom that you're bringing in. It's just so beautiful to hear that. It also sounds, for me, in one way, it sounds quite advanced, yet it sounds also very natural. It's very beautiful.
It's exactly what you're sorry.
No, please go ahead.
I get curious to hear what you wanted to finish to say.
Yeah,
Uh,
it really, when you're speaking, I feel like I'm expanding. I think that was the last sentence that I wanted to say. Yeah.
okay. Yeah, because you know what you were saying is really very important because the base is that. If we're not embodied in ourselves, and because it sounds like a really interesting thing and we want to jump there. But to go to these places where our home is really empty still and we're not in it, then our home is kind of open to all directions and anything can come in. Once we're really connected and we know our own body, our own embodiment to a place where if something is not really well, my body will tell me. Then I'm safe to work with this higher mediumship incorporation, all of that. But at the same time, it's true what you said, it's very natural. And when you're already just beginning, you can work with some things. And this is what I like to do. There are many traditions and many high things, and we're here in the West. So to kind of bring the tools in a way that are available to us, because there is no one that can be hurt with embodying the energy of honey. No one can be hurt from that. No, maybe some people hear that, and what does that even mean? Well, you're invited to come and try. Maybe it will happen. Who knows? But
I would love to.
I never know what will happen. Spirit really, really, in a way, I always come with a plan or something. But then when a group of people is with me, or even just one person, then I'm more connected to listening to what's happening now than to my plan. And then sometimes, usually, there becomes a combination of the two in some way. I get surprised. Things get invented in the middle of a retreat or a workshop. And then
Yeah, because one of the things I read about you was that you, in a sense, you work as a channel when you step in and facilitate spaces or groups. You are a medium in a way, or you become this channel that sort of, you have a structure, but you also surrender into what is needed in the room, what is opening up, it's like going beyond my ideas, maybe my thoughts, what I want to do, and just having that.
Totally beyond, totally, even to the point of sometimes I really want to sing a certain song for a whole night and I cannot sing it because it's not on the playlist upstairs. But I see it as a very simple thing. It's I think it's my wish to really surrender to what is needed, because there is such a high pleasure in that. There is not so much pleasure in following my own plan. It's not that interesting. The plan is nice, and if that's what's supposed to be, sometimes it happens because the plan was already in tune to begin with. But there is a lot of beauty in just listening, and this word channel is very high. Sometimes we think of it of a medium, a channel, but I just listen. I've developed that, and I'm still developing that. And yes, there are places where there are some more advanced, fancy channeling ways that I can use, but it's the point is listening.
So, I mean, it's so beautiful. I feel almost like what you're coming through is kind of like a wild wisdom, or like a natural wisdom. Like it's almost coming back to this original state of intelligence in collaboration with nature. I don't know what words to put on it here, but
Exactly those words. I love them. I'm copying them soon.
Great.
They're really beautiful. They really describe, because I think I feel it's the feminine energy on the planet. I'm not just saying that's for us women, but men have a very strong connection to feminine energy as well. We're all going into that phase at this point where it's needed. And the feminine energy is very much like that. It's very wild. It's connected to what's happening to the earth. And it's very important to have the masculine as well, very balanced. So, this is why there are many teachers in the world, and the collaborations happen. And I don't believe people should follow one teacher. And even this concept of teachers, we're all teachers at one point. We develop some skill to a certain level and keep developing them. And as long as we grow and learn more, then people can learn from us, but we can also continue to learn. So I see it very simply. It's more like sharing with my brothers and sisters.
Yes, beautiful. It's like that's for me, that speaks about the intelligence of love, because in love we are equals, right? We are both the teacher and the students, and we are all sitting in that circle. I don't know if that resonates with you, but I also feel like the time of the exalted guru who is on a pedestal above us is kind of, it's crumbling.
Yeah, it's very old. It's very yeah, it's all, maybe some souls here on the planet still need that.
Yes.
I feel we're going for a different place. It's very strange to be a teacher like that. It's very lonely. Why would we want to?
Mm. That's true, right? Because then you also don't maybe fully allow yourself to be a human.
Mm,
If you have to be this exalted guru, but then you still have in behind the scene, there is all your humanness and all your pains, and you have to
yeah,
hide them because you have to, I can really see also how that
yeah.
could be.
And it's not serving people so much, because I feel that, if I share my list of traumas and places where I still deal with them very deeply,
Yeah.
that just makes people more comfortable to be human. It's normal. It's normal. I'm very far from having resolved myself, but it doesn't mean that I cannot share a whole lot. And it's true for all of us, even for many of us who think that they need to get to some point until they can share what they have to give to the world. And I love empowering people on that level. I love working one-on-one with people in that level as well, because people are such gift bags.
Mm.
So it's really great to see how just to pull it all out, and it's already, something is always ready to be shared.
Mm. Wow, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. There's just a few more things that I would love to talk about, and then I think we're gonna
Yeah.
round up this interview for today. One thing that I'm really curious about is if you would sense into a little bit, what the world, what we collectively need right now. I mean, we've been going through some very tough years with Corona and lockdown and things, and it's brought up a lot of collective fear. And I know a lot of people are struggling with mental health, and there's like, I mean, it feels like we've all been through this collective, I almost want to say trauma, but
Yeah.
what is your sense that maybe there's many things we need, but what is one thing that you're sensing that it's important right now for us, and to sort of move through this?
Yeah.
Maybe
Wow.
integrate all of this somehow.
It's integrate, and at the same time it keeps going,
Yeah.
things are going. So there's always something happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
The first thing that came to me, and I feel that very much also in the feminine energy in each one of us, is softness.
Mm.
We are,
Yeah.
in this moment, it would be so good if each person on the planet would try to connect to their softest side. That would change everything.
Wow, I love that.
Softness, and it starts with ourselves. It's always that. If we're soft towards others, but we're hard on ourselves, is not happening.
Mm.
So just this place of stopping, feeling where we are, being soft, finding where we can step slowly. So slowing down, really slowing down, opening our eyes slowly, just seeing what's happening around us, taking a little more time for that. We cannot take all the time in the world for that, of course, because we have our life here. It's still very much in survival mode on the planet as a humanity. And we all touch that in certain levels, emotionally or physically or materially or all of them. So it's not to demand ourselves in a hard way to be soft either. It's just a little more inside, breathing softness, love, really love, but love on the purest level to ourselves, which is not loving ourselves because we're wonderful, loving ourselves because we are. I exist, this means something. It's got to mean something. And it's funny to say, but it's a realization I've had very clearly in the past year. I had a moment of seeing my footprint on the stone in water. I stepped out of a river and I had this kind of waking moment, but very, very present to reality waking moment that I actually exist.
Yeah.
I'm actually here. I'm actually a person. That is very, I was almost shocked that I didn't really wake up to that until today. And it's very subtle what I'm talking about now, but I'm sure some people can really feel it as well.
Yeah, I can very, very, very much feel that. It's like the miracle of simply being alive. This unfathomable miracle of being a human being is like it's right in front of our eyes and we don't see it because it's right here. You know, I really felt you when you were speaking. I felt so much love coming through your words of just this human experience.
Because it was a moment of you know, it's just this, not just that miracle, but that I don't really need to do anything or be anything at all. It's just that. It's like the babies, you know, their footprint is there. It's so sweet. It felt like that.
Wow, thank you so much. It's really a pleasure to talk to you. And like we said in the beginning, I feel like I could continue talking with you for hours. But in honoring of this interview here, I think we have to complete. So I just want to say thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, Emyahli. I'm so happy that you're coming soon to Denmark, and I really look forward to meet you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this opportunity. It's not something I'm so used to doing. Video is kind of a new media that I'm slowly trying to get comfortable with. I'm very comfortable in front of a lot of people. This little camera makes me nervous. So I tried my best.
Yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to meet the Danish family a little more. I've been once before. I shared, there was a singing circle I was invited to be part of while I was passing through to hold retreats in Sweden and Norway. But I'm really happy to come directly to the heart of Denmark. Looking forward to meet you soon and to meet whoever else will be there. I'm sure it will be a group of beautiful souls.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.